All right, let's talk about Mindhunter, the television show on Netflix. Now, I was kind of late to the Mindhunter show. I knew about it. I was well aware of it. Just for whatever reason, I was also busy a lot with work. I didn't have time for it. But I always thought that one day I would sit down and I would watch it. I didn't know a whole lot of what it was about. I actually didn't know that it was somewhat based in reality. I thought it was completely fictional. That was like one of the main misconceptions I had prior to watching the show. So anyway, I finally sat down and watched the show. And look, I'm not really a huge binger. In fact, I'm the type that likes to make things last sometimes. Like I'll watch like a few episodes here and a few episodes there. There's been very few times where I've just been so sucked into something that I watched it from beginning to end. Mindhunter was one of those shows. I watched the entire thing in one sitting. I think I watched like the first 6 episodes and finished the next 4 early the next day. So it was pretty much a straight through binge. The first 2 episodes are directed by David Fincher. And I'm a huge David Fincher fan. And if you're a fan of David Fincher's style of filmmaking and his aesthetic, it won't be lost on you here. He very much brings that to this television show. In fact, the closest thing I can compare it to his prior work is Zodiac. This is very much sort of like a Zodiac television show. You have the mystery and it's really not even about... It's really not even that there's a mystery to it. And in fact, the main actors, they're not really involved in any action, at least not yet. It's more about them trying to understand the psychology of this of the serial killer, which is kind of a new thing for them. They realize that the techniques that they're using to track and understand these killers are way outdated, and they need to get it updated by interviewing serial killers. So let me go back to the first 2 episodes, directed by Fincher. Just excellent. And the cast all around. Jonathan Groff, who plays Holden Ford, he is excellent. I think it's McCallany. I'm not sure how to say his last name. He plays Bill Tench. He's popped up in a couple other Fincher films in the past in small parts. He was in Fight Club. I think he was in Alien 3. Anyways, he's excellent in this. All the supporting characters, I think everyone is great, but the one performance that, man, just really knocked my socks off was Cameron Britton, who plays Ed Kemper. Holy shit, that guy is just excellent and creepy and just, I mean, he for me made that show so much better just by him being in it. So I loved the first 2 episodes, and I started to watch the third one, and I saw that David Fincher was not the director of the third one. I was like, oh, okay, this is scary. Still the same writer for the first 3 episodes, so we had that going for it, but it was now going to be a different director's take. It was excellent. Totally stayed in the tone of it. It was a little bit different than Fincher's, of course, but it was still great. I think episode 4 or 5, can't remember which one, is the first episode that the main showrunner does not write it, and they're using a different director that they had not used prior in the series. So I was really apprehensive again. And again, I was still impressed at the show. I feel like it's already found its footing and its tone. So it's so interesting. And like I said, if you're a fan of Fincher's Zodiac, the reason why I say if you would like Zodiac, you'll probably love this, because Zodiac, same thing, wasn't really about like explosions and the mystery solved. And, it was more just about how it affects these average people around these killings and stuff. They do a really excellent job of doing that. Although I do have a feeling that in the future they may get more involved. And not to say they don't get involved at all. There's definitely some storylines where they help, find a killer and stuff due to their new techniques and stuff. Really interesting show. I'm dying for season 2. I heard that season 2 is gonna, of course, BTK is, you see him bits in here and there in the first season, but he hasn't really interacted with the main characters yet. So I think they're saving that for season 2 or 3. The Atlanta murders are going to be in this, and Charles Manson. In fact, the same actor who's playing Manson in Tarantino's new film Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, he'll be playing him in the 60s, and then in Manhunter season 2, he will be playing Manson in the 80s. So that's really exciting. Really looking forward to that. I keep checking to see if they have an official release date for season 2, but all it says is first half of 2019. That is the most frustrating thing about Mindhunter. I really, really want them to. I really want to see the second season, and I hope the show has a long life because it's excellent. So if you're on the fence, just ask yourself if you're a Fincher fan, especially if you're a Zodiac fan. Then it's probably going to be for you. Especially, if you're just like a true crime fan. This this is a very excellent, very smart show, and I definitely recommend it. It's one of my favorite shows now that is on the air.